Salary negotiation in your interview is very important, but salary is not the only thing that you should be negotiating into your job offer. So keep watching and listening to today's episode of Lunch and Learn Live with Janet Smith as I share with you 6 items to add into your employment offer or to negotiate into your employment offer. Lunch and Learn Live is brought to you by TalentSmiths. TalentSmiths is a place where compensation professionals go to find their next career or their next career advancement. You can check us out at talentsmiths.net for a free resume consultation so that you can actually grow your online profile and progress your career intentionally. Today, I want to share with you items that you can add into your negotiation besides salary. So, salary, of course, is very important to negotiate into your job offer or your employment agreement. But what else can you negotiate into your offer? Or what else should you negotiate into your offer? Well, today I want to share 6 things to think about when negotiating your offer. Now, these are top items to negotiate into your offer. Of course, there are other things, but think about these things when you are negotiating your offer. Compensation that companies assign to you is pretty indicative of the value that that particular position brings to the organization. Not specifically your value, but your value within that position. But there's other ways that you can get value from the company that don't include salary. And I want you to think about some of those things that you can add into your employment offer and negotiate in addition to your salary. So, especially if you're in a situation where you're not able to get the exact salary or the exact salary range that you desire, you can think about negotiating some other things into your offer. So, the first one is your professional development. You can try to negotiate a professional development stipend. So, what does that look like? If you're going back to school, or if you'd like to go back to school to get your degree, if you'd like to take some continuing education classes for a certification or for even some type of licensing, that is something that you can think about negotiating into your employment offer. Lots of companies already have tuition reimbursements, but you can ask them if they don't have that to think about sponsoring you specifically to get a specific degree or a specific certification, and that's all around your professional development. You have to have the conversation to see what type of reimbursement they have regarding tuition. Ask, because this is definitely a win-win situation for you as well as for the company. The company is investing in you by funding your professional development and making you become a better person and a better employee as well. And in addition to that, you pour back into that company your information that you've learned and your knowledge to make your team and the company even better. And you're a more marketable professional at that company and at the next company as well. So definitely do your research for the particular degree that you're interested in, the certification, the licensing, whatever is going to help you excel in this position that you're in, or even in the next position. So you can come to the interview or come to negotiation table with that specific dollar amount in mind. So you know what the costs are. So that when you're asking or when you're having this negotiation conversation, you know exactly what those costs are. So you can ask for a sponsorship for a specific dollar amount or a stipend for a specific dollar amount if they don't have a tuition reimbursement policy or plan in place already. Okay. Number 2, think about negotiating your desk or your office into your job. Now, this could be for medical reasons, this could be for motivational reasons, lots of different reasons, and it really depends on you. It depends on how you work best, and how you're most productive. Are you most productive if you have a window? I am. I have to have sunshine. I have to work in a bright place that's bright and airy and full of sunshine. Do you need to work like that as well? Do you need a place that has a window? Does working near a window motivate you? Does working in an ergonomically correct workstation help you to be more productive? Do you like to stand? Do you need to sit down while you work? Do you need to do a combination of both? I know some people need to do a combination of both. Or if they're standing, it keeps them alert throughout the day, because very often we have that lag time of the day where you just kind of get fatigued. If you know that you're that type of person, you may need a Veridesk. You may need something that's adjustable where you can adjust it up and stand, or adjust it down and sit down. Think about that. If it's a medical necessity or if it's a motivational necessity, think about that before your interview. So, number 3, think about negotiating your severance. It's worth a conversation. So if you are terminated without cause, which means it's not your fault, companies just going through layoffs or laying off or terminating people for their own reasons, not for reasons that you have caused, then you can think about negotiating a 4-month severance pay. You can negotiate the number of months that you get severance based on your work time, and your company may already have something in place, but have the conversation so that you know what's in place. And if it's not currently in place, you can request that, or you can negotiate that in the event that there's a termination without cause. So this severance pay buffer gives you a chance to look for other employment. It gives you a chance to reach out to your recruiter and to get on their calendar, or to reactivate or activate a profile within their network. And you can apply and build a profile at talentsmiths.net and get active in the network today. This helps you for the future. And so the 4th thing is to negotiate a flexible schedule. So when I say flexible schedule, would you like to work remotely 1 or 2 days per week? Sure. Would you like to arrive a little bit later 1 or 2 days a week, or do you need to do that? Is there a situation with your child that you need to arrive a little bit later? Is there a situation where you or your spouse or someone in your family needs to have medical care or physical therapy? Whatever the case may be, you know your situation. Nobody knows your situation better than you. Go into your negotiation of your potential position, your future position, being open and negotiating the things that you need up front so that later on you're not requesting time off, requesting too much time off. Go into that interview letting them know that up front and negotiating those terms that fit your needs on purpose. Okay. So even if it's working longer hours on a certain day so that you can have a particular day off, you can work 4 days, 10 hours a day, get your 40 hours in and have Fridays off. Maybe the company already has this in place, or maybe there's an option similar to this, but have the discussion so that you can know what you are getting into specifically. So the fifth thing is transportation, relocation, or reimbursement. Think about negotiating this ahead of time, whether you have a long commute, if you're taking a ferry ride, a bus ride, a subway ride, an Uber ride, a train ride. Think about those long commutes and those ways of transportation that you have to use to even get to your place of employment, even parking. Think about negotiating that as well. And if you are relocating to a totally different location, ask about their relocation policy. If they have a relocation policy, lots of companies do, but you don't know unless you ask. They may already have a relocation policy in place. But when you go into that conversation about relocation, it is best to calculate the cost, the specific cost that's going to take to relocate you from point A to point B, you and your family and all of your household goods. Calculate that cost as if you were relocating yourself on your own dime. You're going to have that number. You're going to know the specific dollar amount so that when you go into the negotiation, your ask will be based on real numbers and not a guesstimated number or an estimated number. Know the cost of relocating you and your family beforehand. It's to your benefit, it's to your advantage. And number 6, the last thing that I want to share with you of an item that you can negotiate into your offer is a shorter vesting period. What do you mean, Janet? Well, some companies offer MIP, which are management incentive plans, and it really depends on the level of your role. But some companies offer incentives. You can have stock options, profit sharing, and with these incentives, you can usually negotiate a percentage of these. You can have a 10% MIP, a 20% MIP. It really depends on you, the role, how you negotiate, as well as the company. But think about also negotiating your vesting schedule. So some companies have a graded vesting schedule. Some companies have a cliff vesting schedule. With the graded vesting schedule, depending upon the number of years of service that you have with the company, will determine how much you are vested. After a year, you're typically not vested. After 2 years, you could be 20% vested, and so on and so forth. Up to 6 years could be the year where you are 100% vested. Now, if the company has a cliff vesting schedule, you are not vested until you are. That means that you're not for a while, and then you just basically jump off the cliff and you're 100% vested. So it could look like year 1, you're not vested. Year 2, you're not vested. But year 3, you could be 100% vested. So think about if the company has a graded vesting schedule, Rather than waiting for year 6 to be 100% vested, you could negotiate being 100% vested at 4 years. And with the cliff vesting schedule, rather than being 100% vested after 3 years of service, you could request or negotiate to be 100% vested after 2 years working with the company. We all know that saving for retirement is important, so definitely be sure that you are aware of your potential employer's vesting schedule before making any career decisions, because you don't want to be in a situation where you resign voluntarily after 5 years and 11 months, only to miss your vesting period by 30 days and unfortunately missing a significant sum of your employer's matching contributions. You don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen for you. So know what your company's vesting schedule is and try to negotiate one that's more beneficial or advantageous for you. So these are all items that you can add into your negotiations when you're negotiating your offer. And I'd love to hear what items you have negotiated into your offer. And if for any reason you don't get everything that you want in your negotiation, here's a tip. You can ask for an evaluation period, which is like a probationary period, I guess you can say, or it's like a review period. So basically, you can ask them to include a 6-month or whatever months period that you want to review. So ask them to include a 6-month re-review of XYZ. So if you're asking for a different title, if you're asking for a bonus, if you're asking for that stipend, whatever whatever you are attempting to negotiate, if they're not willing to do it, ask for a 6-month review period so that they can see your value after that time period, and you can revisit those items and renegotiate into your offer those items as well. So the review period, it just basically gives the company a risk-free trial on you without giving you all of these things. They're giving you some of these things down here. It's a review period. So they can see your value. You can really show them what you can do and show them what you are worth. Right? Yeah. So the discussion for the title, the discussion for the stipend or the bonus, it becomes easier for you and it becomes easier for your employer as well, because they now, after the 6 months or however long the duration is, they now understand your worth and they now understand your value. So when you revisit and have that conversation, your ask makes more sense. It definitely makes more sense. And you also want to ask to put this review period in writing. Put it in the offer letter. Have it in writing so that you can review it later. Have your review period in the offer so that you can review it later. If you don't get all the things that you're asking for in the negotiation, ask for a review period to revisit those things that you didn't get. Track all of your accomplishments during this review period. So when you revisit after that 6-month review, it's an easier conversation. Everyone knows what you're going for. Track your accomplishments. Okay? Okay? Good luck. You have definitely got this. I know you do. track those accomplishments. Tracking your accomplishments helps you in the conversation, and it helps your manager in the conversation as well, because you're the one that really knows what you did. You're the one that really knows what you've accomplished because you're tracking it. And then show proof of what you've done. And I'm curious to know, what items have you added into your negotiation? What items would you like to add into your next negotiation? Check us out at talentsmiths.net. Register to grow your online profile so that you can progress your career intentionally. We're all about intentional career progression. Thanks for watching.